What's up? Tournament time is finally here. Tournament's starting like a week here in Illinois. Pretty much just my club tournaments, but I just want to go over 3 baits that will not leave the deck of my boat in the springtime. Once that water hits 50 degrees, they will win you money and they will catch you fish. So what are these baits? I can tell you 2 of them are moving baits, reaction type baits that are just gonna, they're gonna force feed the fish. They're gonna make them react to that bait coming by them. These fish are hungry. They're ready to just gorge themselves because they're trying to prepare for spawn. Honestly, these fish are the healthiest they're gonna be, in my opinion, all year until late fall when they start really eating again. But springtime pre-spawn fish are the biggest, the baddest, the most healthy fish, and this is the time to catch them. There's 3 baits. The first one has got to be a spinnerbait. Now I'm going to keep a spinnerbait tied on all the time. I'm gonna chunk this thing around any structure I can find, any shallow structure. I'm gonna slow roll it. I can speed it up if I want. But the thing about this is it's going to imitate bait fish, and they are trying to fatten up. So they're gonna try to eat as many of these, as many bait fish as they can. So the days I'm gonna try to throw a spinnerbait are cloudy, windy days when I want a little more flash, a little more action to entice those fish to eat. There's a little more action in the water. There's, you know, there's things going on. I'm gonna pick up the spinnerbait. I'm gonna toss it, like I said, around structure, around pretty much anything. I'll roll it down rocks. I'll roll it past docks. It doesn't matter. I'll wear cool socks while I'm fishing the docks. But the next bait, sometimes when it, you know, if you can get them to eat it, great. When it's cloudy, when it's whatever, but I'm going to mainly a lot of times on sunny days, or if it's calm or whatever, if they won't eat that spinnerbait. Spinnerbait's a big fish bait, but I'm telling you, this will catch big fish too. Square bill. Square bill is a shallow diving crankbait. I'm wanting the square bill because I'm wanting it to deflect and get erratic as possible. I'm gonna parallel the bank with this bait. I'm gonna get right up top on those rocks. Mainly, I'm gonna fish a rock and concrete pattern. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna parallel every single rock bank I can find until I can figure out maybe what they're looking for. If they're wanting to stay on the west banks or the east banks or the windy banks or the non-windy banks, or the ones that are heated up in the afternoon, or the one, you know, it doesn't matter. The pea gravel, it doesn't matter. Once you find kind of what they are wanting to set up on, a lot of times those fish are nosed up to the bank, so you got to get that bait running right up along that bank. You're bouncing it. Sometimes you can reel it fast, sometimes you can reel it slow. You got to figure out what the fish want, but a square bill is always going to be on the deck of my boat. And between that and a spinnerbait, you can't go wrong. You're gonna catch fish, you're gonna catch big fish, and you're gonna cash some checks. Now last but not least, gotta slow it down a little bit. Every once in a while, you'll figure out where those fish are, and you need to slow down, and maybe you missed a couple, you saw some swirls. Especially on spinnerbaits, you'll get a lot of that. You'll see a swirl, or you'll feel the blade stop or whatever. Sometimes you gotta pick up a slower bait, and that's when the shaky head is gonna come out. I'm gonna throw between an 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce, depending on how fast I want it to fall, how windy it is, how much I can feel that bait. I like to feel the bait. I don't like to be without contact of it, so I wanna know when it's on the bottom, what it's hitting, what it's moving over. So I'm gonna toss this around places I know there are fish, but they don't wanna react to the bite. Then I'll let it soak. I'll let it kind of stay in front of their faces and maybe just move it real slow or not move it at all. Sometimes you get them to pick it up when you're not moving the bait at all. And so that's what I'm gonna do when they're a little finicky. I've had my biggest bag on a small straight tail shaky head worm in the springtime when those big females are starting to move up, but they're eating. They're not ready to get on the beds yet. They're just eating. Shaky head, sometimes gotta go. So those are the 3 baits that will not leave the deck of my boat this spring. Once the water hits 50, all the way till spawn, I'm pretty much throwing those 3 baits. Now once the spawn does come, it's gonna change up a little bit. But until then, those are the baits I'm gonna throw. I appreciate you watching. Go ahead and subscribe, like the video, share the video, keep learning and keep fishing.